Hey everyone, this is Sarah Hine, and I am so excited tonight to share with you just an awesome story of hope for any that's a teacher. We know that we have so many teachers around this great country of ours that just the last few years have been really difficult on them. And I love showcasing people that have found positive solutions through our mental wellness movement to help them be better at what they do and also give them opportunities to do things that they would never be able to do before. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, my name is Sarah Hine. I live in Wisconsin. And I helped open up this mental wellness movement 5 years ago because I was really passionate about what they stood for. And I knew as an entrepreneur, as a wife, an advocate to a very sick husband, a mom of 3 and grandma to 2, I knew that this was going to help a lot of people. And my entrepreneurial spirit took over. And the next thing we know, we are helping people worldwide. And we are in almost 55 countries, and this ship has sailed. So we're really excited tonight to bring to you the mental wellness movement of Amare, which means to love yourself first, and everything else will fall into place. And so I'm going to just slip through a couple of slides here because the reality of today is why I have my amazing guest speaker, Lauren Bretl. Did I say your last name right, Lauren Bretl? Yeah. Okay. She's shaking her head. Who is a kindergarten teacher, and to share her journey, I think it's going to be really point on for our mental wellness movement. The reality of today, the mental health crisis it's increasing daily, and it affects at least 1 to 4 Americans, especially young people. And these are old statistics. And we have a $100 billion industry in all of these name brands that are on my screen here, from Folgers to Prozac to Starbucks to Zoloft. And we know that it's a world conversation. When famous people start talking about it, you know that the cat's out of the bag, right? Like everyone knows. So from famous Olympic gold athletes to movie stars to famous singers to famous sports people. I mean, athletes, it's everywhere. People are realizing that mental health affects us all. It's not just the mental illness or the crazies that we used to, think of in my generation. That mental health affects us all. And we have learned through science, it's a total gut-brain connection. So what we're going to talk about tonight is what is mental wellness. Mental wellness is about helping anyone and everyone, including children, focus better. That alone is huge. So think of anyone that's struggling as they age, to a child who's struggling in school, focusing, to dealing with pressure management. All of us with our jobs, our careers, our families of life, just to have like a more calm presence with pressure management is huge. Building people's confidence, building their financial health. I mean, we are in financial difficulties right now as a nation and as a world. Stress resilience, that's something I didn't understand until I helped learn about this mental wellness movement and then helped charge it around the world. Stress resilience is beautiful. It means that you can show up calmly. You're more likely to calmly respond than quickly overreact. So, for a husband, wife, it's like sharply saying things to each other, or a mom or a dad being frustrated with their kids and kind of like, and wanting to like strangle them. Not that you would, but like, you want it, right? Like you're just frustrated with them. And then instead you show up calm because you're resilient and you have better mental performance. So your jobs are more effective. What you do is more effective, and it allows you to want to move. Most people have a hard time exercising or having any physical performance because they're unmotivated. But when you're mentally well, you actually are motivated to have physical performance. So that's what mental wellness is. And we're going to talk about this tonight because the reality is part of our mental wellness is financial health facts. And we're dealing with inflation we've never seen before. I mean, just go to the grocery store. It's crazy what people are paying at the grocery store, at the pump, at all sorts of different places. 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 42% of Americans are dipping into their savings and taking out loans to keep up. Americans are saying that they need to make $122,000 a year, more than double the national salary to keep up an average lifestyle. Think about that, you guys. I mean, you're either working 2 full-time jobs between mom and dad, or you're working multiple jobs between the two of you. And if you're a single parent, you're screwed. You're just working all the time. So it's cumbersome, right? And this is not helping our health, which is our mental wellness, and it leads to health issues. So we're going to talk tonight about these things because in 2008, the recession, an average of only $400 a month could have kept most homeowners from foreclosing. And it's not 4,000, 40,000 a month, 400. Now, with cost of inflation, I would say that's around the $800 to $1,000 mark. If a family can bring in an extra $1,000 a month, that's going to help them from going into financial debt or financial bankruptcy. And I'm on a real mission to help families do that because it's a real threat. What we have here tonight, for those of you who are joining us, by the way, if you're joining us tonight from different states, different countries, drop in the chat box where you're joining us from. Love to say hello to you. And for those of you that are watching the replay, listen, put in the replay and where you're listening in from, because we love you, appreciate you, and we're excited to serve you. But our founder of all of our brand is Dr. Sean Talbot. He is a dear friend of mine. I have interviewed him multiple times, and he's just a really great guy. He is the gut brain guru in the US and worldwide. He's also Amare Global's chief science officer with over 20 years of experience. He's got pretty much every alphabet behind his name, as I love to say. He's authored multiple books. I think he's on his 14th, 15th book, featured on multiple TV shows like Dr. Oz, Dr. Nandi. He's been on the TED stage. He's been to the White House. He served as a nutritional educator for elite high-level athletes through the Olympic Committee Association. So, I mean, he has just done so many things. But we are very fortunate to have him and have his brain because he has formulated the best mental wellness products out there. So here, and it's being slow, I think, to an internet connection. So hang on there a second. Lauren, you can still hear me, right? There we go. It's finally changed. So that brings us to, oops, let me went to one slide too many, helping people level up. And that brings me to our guest speaker tonight, because I have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful kindergarten teacher from the area that I actually live in. This is a real treat for me. I've met her on several occasions. My daughter just adores her, and she works with my daughter, and she is a real testament to leveling up her own personal life. And she's going to share that story tonight, helping improve her mood, motivation, metabolism, sleep, mental fitness, stress resilience, confidence, weight, gut health, and financial wellness. What I love about Lauren and her story is that she and her husband, they're both teachers, and teachers have been hit hard. They were one of the hardest hit in the pandemic, like healthcare providers, because they were teaching all of your kids, and they had to like pivot, do things they'd never done before. They weren't trained in this. They didn't go to school for this. They had to pivot and do their job at the same time, all doing it virtually, and all while doing it with government and families yelling at them. And so when you think about it, it's stressful. So Lauren, I am so excited to hear about where you were before Amare. What brought you here to Amare? Tell us your story.
So I'm just going to start with a little bit. I was on anxiety meds since my senior year of college. So, a long time, became a mom, and two amazing twins, boy-girl twins. But went through really bad postpartum, and changed meds, but still was just dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and not handling my stress well, trying different things. And seeing this shared many times, I finally decided to try it because I was kind of just sick of always feeling anxious at school, at home, really stressed out about little things at school, at home, and not being able to like help my kids at home and my kids at school through their big emotions because I couldn't handle my own. And I just, after seeing friends post their stories, I said, I need to try this. I need to try it, and I need to try it for me. I need to try it for my family. I need to try it for my job. I need to try it for everything. The pandemic was very stressful in my district, we of course shut down right away. The next year we went back for 11 days, and then we're virtual from September till after Christmas break. So I was teaching kindergarten every day over the computer.
How do you do that, by the way? How do you teach kindergarten?
and truly, and that is a testament to the parents too at home that had to try to figure it out as well. Right. I mean, from September to Christmas break, those kiddos were at home on laptops. We packed packages every week for parents to pick up with stuff in it. But the kids, a lot, were kind of navigating that on their own because most parents were working from home and couldn't sit there right by them. Wow. So it was a really tough time, and it was really tough for those kids too. And it still is. We're going to see the effects of this for a long time, of kids not having that social experience in school, the academic experience that they were supposed to have. I mean, kindergarten is so huge in those skills of how you communicate, how you problem solve, how you play with someone else, how you share. And so we're going to feel it for a while. But it was such a different time. And then, gosh, and then last year, it's like coming back to all these things. I think last year were pretty normal. The year we came back though, then we were off and on with masks. And again, in kindergarten, when we're trying to teach letters and sounds and just those emotions, and they can't see your face, was huge. And there was a lot of stress there. And so I decided to try Amare because I've always kind of had a hard time with focus as well. And decided to give Happy Juice a try. I figured if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What's the worst that's going to happen? And ordered my first month, and as time went on, I noticed little wins. Right away you kind of notice the energy and stuff. But I messaged Brittany and Alex, and it was the little wins. I was keeping my things organized at school. Instead of just setting them down, I was putting them away. When I got home, I was doing little things around the house that usually would just build up because I was so tired and I didn't know where to start when I got home. My stress resilience, because education is just a different world right now. And so being in some really stressful situations, I've been able to stay calm. Not that I haven't been stressed or worried, but I've been able to have that stress resilience through it. It wasn't the end of the world. I wasn't having anxiety attacks. I wasn't any of those things. It was, I'm going to be okay. We're going to get through it. And I was able to keep my calm. And I can do the same thing with my students at school when they're having big emotions, or when we're, just if I'm getting frustrated because we're not listening, we're not following directions, I can take a deep breath and I can show them how to take a deep breath instead of just getting upset or, trying to avoid it. And the confidence. Truly, if someone would ask me to do this last year, I probably would have said, oh no. And the posts and everything else, it's stepping out of your comfort zone, but the confidence that I have built through the Happy Juice, through the people around me, is amazing.
Wow, you brought up so many good nuggets. So let's first of all talk about how much your job changed. For those of you that are listening to this, whether it's live or the recording, by the way, we have people from Arkansas, Texas, Australia, Canada. You think you have people from all around the world listening to this, which is pretty cool because we all went through the pandemic. If you guys know a teacher, you all know teachers, all of you, everyone knows a teacher, please reach out to them, send them this recording. I just have to stop and say that right now. Because Lauren, what you went through, you are working with children. It's different when it's kiddos. It just is. They're the most innocent. We're here to protect them worldwide, right? So the fact that you put what we call your oxygen mask on first so that you could help yourself, you were then able to calmly show up and respond for them with confidence, help them take that deep breath. These are all things that no one ever really thought about before, but Happy Juice is the pack that I now have on the screen that Lauren started with, and it helped boost her mood and her motivation. I loved how she said the little wins. Lauren had like the little wins that helped her with day-to-day tasks. It wasn't like she grew back an arm that was cut off or cured everything disease that she had. It was all these little wins, and those little wins became big wins. You could kind of step back and look at like a long period of time. And it improved your clarity, your mental clarity. It sounds like it gave you more of a productive day. And that increases what's called our happy hormones, or our serotonin and dopamine. It also reduces that stress cortisol. So she could take that deep breath and calmly respond, then quickly overreact. What it also does is it reduces inflammation. And Lauren, I love to never, I've learned to be TMI, like, hey, listen, this might help somebody, but I currently lifted something I probably should not have. It took 5 people to lift, and then I decided to try it. Why not? And that probably wasn't the best move. And I have a hernia right now, got a lot of inflammation. Let me tell you, our products are totally helping me with that. So I'm like, inflammation, no matter what you're dealing with, when it happens, and you get inflamed when you're stressed. So Lauren, think of like any precursors you have in your health, in your body, under all that stress that you were dealing with as a teacher, that is creating inflammation. And that inflammation could be future cancer, it could be future diabetes, it could be future fibromyalgia and autoimmune disease. I mean, we all have these weakened cells. And so when they get inflamed, bad things happen. When you keep them not inflamed and keep them calm, then your body is healthier and it's able to just bounce it off, and it doesn't ever become active. So Lauren, when would you say, when you started to have these little wins, I always love to tell people to journey. Health is a journey. And we've been so, I'm going to just say it boldly, brainwashed that you take this and you get this quick fix. And then we wonder why in 3 to 5 years, we're having all these health issues, or our children are struggling and having all these health issues. And now they're on a slew of medications. And then one medication leads to another medication. It's just a vicious cycle. So Lauren, when did you start to notice over a time frame of these little wins? Was it the first day, week, month, months? What was that like for you?
I would say in the first like couple days, I had noticed more like first like week like energy. But I would say within the first month and a half was when I really started to notice those little wins of like, wow, I'm coming home and I'm doing things. The other thing I noticed was usually I wouldn't do things on the weekend because I was just tired, and I was starting to do things like with my friends, and people were asking, like, yeah, I'll do that, and I didn't notice it right away, but then all of a sudden it was like, wow, I've done something every weekend. So it was in the first couple of months, but even, and then the stress resilience, I would say really more so 6 months or so, I've really noticed that stress resilient. And maybe it's because it's been a really stressful time for me in my career. This past month and a half, 2 months has been very stressful. But when you're talking about the inflammation, I very much carry my stress in my shoulders and my neck. And I love my chiropractor, don't get me wrong. But even in all that I've been going through the past couple of months, I haven't had the pain that I usually would have with the stress that has been. And
you carry it in your shoulders. You carry it. We all do, our neck, our shoulders, and you get that tense feeling. And you're 10,000% right.
And so there's still things that I'm noticing. Every month, there's something new that I realize this is better. This is better than it was. It's better than it was at Christmas. It's better than it was 2 months ago. So the little wins, though, I started noticing within a month on the Happy Juice. But I think the wins just keep coming.
That's beautiful. And I love to be real, Lauren. I think it's so important if somebody's new listening to this. So you had little wins within your first month. And then within that 3 to 6 month, you started to notice the bigger wins. You could start to look back, hindsight, and see, I can now show up so much more calmer. That was my story, because when I came into Amare, I had a very, very sick husband. It was right around that 4 to 6 month mark where I started to notice I didn't need some of the extra mood or the extra happy juice or the extra things. I was like better throughout the day. And I just took the normal doses and I was like, oh my gosh, I got through the day and I didn't have a meltdown. Like, even though I was an adult, like I was doing better. And I love that you said that because it's very consistent and we have to prepare people for. So if you're listening to this for the first time, give it time and just be consistent. You'll have little wins along the way, and those little wins will start to motivate you to have the bigger wins. What happens is too many people want the big wins all up front and they quit too soon. They'll quit after the first month and they don't stick with it. Lauren, can you imagine if you would have quit the first month and you didn't stick with it to month 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, I would totally be missing out. I can't imagine. I mean, it really has completely changed me as a mom, as a wife, and as an educator. It's where I want to be, it's who I want to be. And I honestly don't know if I could have ever said that before. I mean,
Wow.
truly. And truly, like in confidence and everything else, I've lived with anxiety and depression for so long that you just don't think you're ever gonna feel better. Or it's just normal. I guess it's just normal. And to find something that makes it not normal is amazing.
Now, Lauren, you bring up a very interesting point because prior to the pandemic, you were on anxiety meds. You were on, and I know you got kids, we're all, listen, we're all
It's
normal.
okay. My neighbor just needs to borrow some vanilla, so I'm trying to tell the kids where it's at.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we're all real. Like, that's the cool thing is like, that's the beauty of Zoom is we're all like families, real life. And Lauren, you're representing real life. That's why she needs stress resilience. So Lauren, when you mentioned that you were on anxiety meds, you had been through a lot of stress in your life. And I think that that's, my hope is always to help someone else. That's why we do what we do. And so many people are writing, Brittany, Heidi, Patty, they're all just saying that your story is amazing. They're sharing that this is their go-to every morning and you're inspiring people. And people are also thanking you for your service. And but your family been through a lot. You had a lot of stress. Do you mind sharing a little bit of that?
I mean, I don't know how much you want me to share. So I first of all, I'm going to say I lost my brother. It'll be 10 years ago, this August, very unexpectedly in a motorcycle accident. So that has been a huge thing. And then I had twins, in August of 2016, almost full term. They came out very healthy. Wes and I had been on action for a little bit, but about 7 weeks after I had my twins, my husband had a stroke and could not do anything for 8 weeks after that. He could not hold a baby. He could not feed a baby. He could not change a diaper. He could do nothing but sit for about 8 weeks. Luckily, we have tons of family around us that were able to continue to come over and help and spend the night with me, because we had to feed them every 2 hours. My husband fully recovered from his stroke and everything that went with it. So we were very blessed that way, very blessed with family. But I had really bad postpartum. And I said, at the end of August, I think I stopped crying every day around December. So a little bit there, but and we switched my meds and stuff. Anxiety didn't go away. And then as far as work goes.
Okay, time out.
Yes.
I just need to point, first of all, I knew your brother and he was a beautiful soul. And you guys, she said it so eloquently and like, that's just the kind of person she is, but she lost her brother to a tragic accident. That right there would do people in. And then she gets pregnant with twins and that would do people in. And then, and carries them full terms, whether it's full term or not, that would do someone in. And then her husband strokes when she has twin babies. And 8 weeks is recovering, 8 weeks, 2 months. You handled it with such dignity and grace, but I just need to like point out, like, you weren't just a teacher that went through a pandemic, and I'm not downplaying any teacher that went through it. It was brutal. That's why I have Lauren on tonight. But Lauren, I just want to say you're my hero. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take that lightly. You have been through way more than most. And so when you were saying you were on anxiety, I mean, you had a lot of shock to your poor body and your system and your cortisol levels. Like your body was constantly going through shock. So this was a woman who had been through a tremendous amount of quick, fast, short trauma in the last decade of her life and could never like it's like your body was probably always feeling like it was just trying to gasp for breath until the next thing hit. And then you'd gasp for breath and the next thing would hit. So probably by the time the pandemic came along, you were probably so numb, you're like, whatever. But like, it was still like, this sucks. And so I want, and thank you for sharing that vulnerability. I know it's not easy, but that's part of the mental wellness movement is that, you know, some of us, we're all going to go through these really hard seasons. And so this is a woman who deserves to have that story told, and that she was able to, I'm sure, have a very strong faith and a strong community of family and friends, and then the right nutrition, that you're now starting to climb onto that other side. And you're not gasping for air anymore, are you?
No.
Wow. I got goosebumps. I don't know about all of you, but that right there, Lauren, most people would be struggling the rest of their lives. And
that's how I
you
felt.
are, you've got the rest.
Yeah. And that's how I felt.
I could see it. I mean, and you know what, rightfully so. So if there's someone listening to this and you know someone, or you yourself have been through a tremendous amount, let Lauren give you hope. You know, Mari's not going to fix everything in your life, but it is some tools to help you with the right combination of support, community, love, and just persistence and not giving up. And what I love too is that we have 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So, you know, we stand behind our products, get on them right away. I always tell people 3 to 6 months, be consistent. Lauren's story is spot on for that example. And if you're just getting started and want to try it, our membership is free, and we give you a $10 coupon off your first order. So it doesn't cost $10 to start in our program. We give you $10 off. Now we're going to kind of change lanes here, because part of the Amare brand is we get the word out by sharing it, right? You know, the products can't do two things. They can't walk and they can't talk. So we also created a program, a side hustle program, or a career program for people to bring in extra money. And I'm curious, you know, Lauren, you are a professional. You have a career, you're a teacher, you have a full life, you have twins, you have a husband, you have life, you have family and friends, a community to serve. What brought you into wanting to share Amare and earn some income with it? Tell us about that story.
I've done other like direct marketing things before, but have always just kind of done it for my products for myself. But I had to start sharing this with how I was feeling. I had to start sharing this with other people. And then with that, with the support of the team that I'm with, I could see the financial benefit to it. So we just did the retreat, and Sarah, I think you asked us, what is your goal for the summer? Where do you want to be? And I put my goal out there. We're doing some big renovations on our house. And I said, I want to start putting extra towards that. The other thing is that education is really hard and right now. And, we just don't know what every year is going to bring at this point. We had to do 20 layoffs this year. Next year could be the same. And so not knowing, you know, from year to year, whether I'm going to have a job or not, I want this. I want this as something for myself, as something for my family. And even if I do keep teaching, this is just another source of income for us. It's another backup for us. You know, if I can make it a full-time thing, great. But this is a second income for us, or another source of income for us. And like I said, it just right now, education is, we're just at a point where we don't know.
You know, I just looked at a report today of all the companies that are laying off, from Disney to big name companies, and it's thousands of people. And I think every career, every industry is bracing for this, right? This impact. And so I think a lot of people are like, I don't know where if I'm going to have the job in the next 6 months to a year. So what I look at here at Amare is what we call a plan B. So Lauren, this is your plan B. Like this
Right.
is potentially, for me, I never ever thought 10 years ago to almost 11 that my husband would at the age of 38, 39 start to fall rapidly ill, and that his beautiful construction business that he ran we'd have to shut down. I never pictured that, like, right. But we were, we were blessed. I was going to say we were smart. We weren't smart. We were blessed. We were blessed to have been put in front of the right people at the right time in our lives. And it made sense to us, like common sense to us, to have a plan B in life, because things can happen, right? And I'm so grateful for this industry. I'm forever grateful for it, because we had a plan B, and that plan B in direct sales, in the side hustle, and eventually became our plan A. And I think that for all of you listening, even if you thought, oh, direct sales, it's dumb, you can't make that much money. That's not true. I mean, my life and most of my team's life, we've got lots of examples to show you that that's not true. But it is so smart. It's just smart. It's also a great tax write-off. I mean, it's good for I think every family in America could have a plan B in the direct sales industry in some form, shape, or way, because there's so many companies out there now that it would just be smart to have that in your financial portfolio. And Lauren, that's what you're building. Why I chose Amare is a couple of reasons. I am a serial entrepreneur. This week, Lauren, celebrates my 27th year in this industry. I was actually on my honeymoon.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on June 2nd is when the day my husband and I were sitting on a barge going from Bainbridge Island to Seattle. And I didn't have a college degree. He didn't have a college degree. And we just were like, what the heck are we going to do? We already had a child. And we were like, how are we going to like get ahead in life? And we had been introduced to this industry. And that's when we decided to partner in this industry. And I've only been with 2 companies in 27 years. I'm very picky. Like I am a man, I'm very picky. And when I found one, I stick with it. And I'll tell you what, Amare's growing. And this is a trajectory growth of what we've done as a company. We officially launched in 2018, and by 2022, we were having over 100% growth, and we're projected to be 125 million and more projected in 2023. We are growing rapidly. And so it's a great, I mean, obviously you want to be in a growth company if you're going to look for a side hustle. And what set us apart were these key things. This is what you want to look for in a really solid company. The timing, you want to make sure that it's trend is your friend, and that it's a hot market. You want to make sure that you're with a company that has the experience, knows what they're doing, great products that actually work. They better darn well pay out well and fair and just, and they have a culture that aligns to you. And what I tell everybody is that when I take a look at who and what Amare is, our Amare executive team, over all the executives that we have 4 people right now that have been CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies. So we have like a very, very established, experienced executive team. Our products work from our kids line to our adult line. We tell everybody, like, talk to the person that brought you. They're going to set you up on the right program, and they're going to help you figure that out. We have a powerful people now that have blazed a trail just for you, and they're here to support you and love you. And the community is so powerful. And we're the one and only. We're the mental wellness company. But Lauren, would you say, because you're a family-based person, would you say that the core values of Amare is the values you raise your children by? Your side hustle is what the values you raise, love, teaching them love, to love themselves first, to love others as much as they love themselves, to have integrity, to be innovative and forefront, creative, to serve and give back, and to always be humble and live with you.
Yes.
And, Lauren, when you saw this culture, what did that mean for you?
It meant another community, another family. I mean, truly, the the girls that I'm with, the retreat was amazing. I mean, people from all over, you could just feel the sense of community and that we all have this same belief, and everyone was cheering the other on and helping each other and supporting one another. And I don't know if I've ever felt that in another company the way that I do here with Amare.
Mm. So you just gave me goosebumps again. My daughter was right about you. You just come from just such caring people that care about you, and they care about the community. The community is everything. One of the things the pandemic taught us, and I see this every day in my job. I mean, I'm talking to high level career people, executives to influencers that have millions of followers. People are longing for just to be heard, and they're just longing to have a community. And that is definitely what we have here. So listen, what's next for you is simply this: speak to the person who invited you or sent you this link and this replay or this live. Get all your questions answered. You're gonna have lots of questions. They're gonna answer your questions for you. And we're really excited to invite you and welcome you into our Amare family, either as a customer, just to experience the products, or if you're like, gosh, these products sound amazing, I would love to try them for my child or for myself or for a loved one. And I'm looking for ways to make income, and this kind of sounds cool. Listen, we would love to share with you our launch packs and how to get started and to get you connected in. And then the person who invited you to this will also invite you to a mental wellness movement Facebook group that we have and help you get started. And all I can tell you is we're expanding worldwide. So there's always somebody who knows somebody. Like I know we've got Australia represented here, and I've got a ton of Canadians, people from Mexico, Canada, Europe. We're opening up to Europe this summer. These are all the countries we're going worldwide. If you have connections, whether it's military or whether you just know somebody who's lived there or moved there, we are going worldwide, and everyone needs this. Everyone is suffering. Everyone is struggling, you guys. And just share like, hey, maybe this could help you like it did Lauren. Maybe so, maybe not, but they've got a wonderful 100% money back guarantee. And if you're open to it with no side effects and try something more holistic and natural first. So there's my slide that was supposed to be at the beginning of the meeting, but I'm going to end with this. I came here because I had a husband who was really sick, and I was sick and tired. I'm not saying our medical community is all screwed up, but it's really screwed up. And I'm going to say that even recorded, because we could be doing better. We're better than this. We don't focus on the root of the problem. We just focus on band-aiding everything. And he was band-aided for 5 years. And it's this beautiful, handsome young man. He lived in bed for almost 5 years, and I was sick of it. I'm like, this is not right. And he's had to have brain surgeries. He's had 8 surgeries in his head. He has a very crazy disease, but he is right now medication free. He jet skis, he downhill skis in the Rockies. He lives a vibrant life. He still struggles with his disease, but man, he lives a vibrant life, and side effects, they are not holding him back anymore. And there's a time and place for medicine for sure, but I'm over it. I want to start with the root of health first and start there first and see what kind of quality of life we can have. And that love for helping him and helping myself and my children and my grandchildren has spread now worldwide. And it helps people like Lauren. Lauren, thank you for sharing your story tonight. Thank you for sharing your heart, your vulnerability, all that you've been through, and to give, most importantly, people hope, and to know that they're not alone. And that, listen, even if you've been through a lot, or you're just kind of stuck in the middle and you're like, well, I don't have her story, but I feel like crap. Wherever you're at, wherever you're at, listen, there's hope. And start with happy juice. I always say all roads lead to happy juice. Talk to the person that brought you here. Lauren, is there anything else you'd say to everybody before we leave?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, first I want to say thank you for letting me come on and share my story, having me on. But I'd say, yeah, I mean, anyone that you think of, I mean, just share. Just share. And there's always hope. And no matter what, big or small, whatever you're going through, if you're not feeling good, give it a try. There's nothing to lose with trying it.
I'm going to leave it at that. Amen. Thank you, Lauren. Lauren, you are awesome. And it was just a privilege to have you on tonight. I was thrilled that I got you. So thank you for blessing me and for blessing literally thousands that will listen to this recording. Listen, for all of you around the world listening to this, we love you. We welcome you. We're excited to see if Lauren's story could be your story. And I love what she said, just share. So God bless you all. Thanks for sharing, Lauren. And good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Lauren. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining
Bye.
us.